Today, let's talk about the power of manifesting, and I'll tell you guys how I manifested my trip to Europe in just a few weeks. So, I've always wanted to go to Europe. It's always been something I wanted to do, just to go around, several countries, just to see, because it seems so beautiful and like, why not, right? It seemed cool. It seemed like a cool, fun thing to do. I was really wanted to do it, but it was just something in the back of my head. It was just, I didn't have a plan for it. It was just something that I was like, it would be a nice to do. And then this summer came around and I actually started to think about it a bit more seriously, like, oh, this would be cool. But it was still just, again, just a thought in my head. But then I was with some friends, I was with some people at some point, and then people were talking about summer plans, and then somebody asked me, like, so what are you doing over the summer? And at this point, I was just talking, right? I was just like, oh, it would be nice to go to Europe. I didn't have any plans about it. I was just saying because we were just talking about it. But people took me really seriously. And then in the weeks after that, people would ask me, like, so which countries are you going to, by the way? As if I had a plan. And at that point, I couldn't be like, oh no, I was just thinking about it. I had to be like, because they were asking me with so much confidence, I had to be like, France, I think Italy. Each time someone would ask me, I would just add a country. I'm like, Greece, I think Italy, Spain, Greece, I think those would be good. Every time someone would ask me. And then it got to the point where people would be like, oh yeah, Chelsea's going to Europe this summer. And I would be like, yeah, okay, no visa at this point, no money, no plan, but I'm like, okay, sure, right? Because everybody else seems so confident, because I guess when I said it, they took me seriously. I was just talking. So at this point, I'm like, okay, now I need to start making moves to actually make this thing happen. And the other thing as well was that at some point, I'm like, I'm gonna look like a damn fool if summer comes to an end and I haven't gone anywhere, and I have to be like, oh, I didn't end up going, and I think that's something we do a lot. Sometimes when we have a goal, or we have something we're working towards, or applying for, and we're waiting to hear back, or something, we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to tell our friends, we want to tell people about it, because we want to make sure that, we don't get too excited. We want to manage our excitement. We want to manage our expectations. We want to make sure that we don't have to be too disappointed and then have to share that disappointment with people. But when you're trying to manifest something and create something in your world, that's actually a bad idea. And we'll get into why in a little bit. So when you're manifesting something, you are creating it on two levels. One is the physical level, the physical world, the physical reality, when you're making actual concrete steps. And then the other world is the energetic level. This is where we can't see now, where God or the universe or the source, or whatever your higher power is. I personally prefer God and the universe, depending on the context, but it's refers to everything beyond. So whatever works for you, that's where that force can now work on your behalf to make that thing happen. So those are the two levels that you're manifesting on. And the relationship between the two is actually quite simple. The universe wants to support you in everything that you do. And in fact, it does support you in everything that you need to do. But here's the thing. Before God, right, the universe, can help get you where you need to go, God needs to know where it is that you're trying to go. Like, what's the destination? The universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in energy. And that energy is translated through your actions. The universe working on your behalf, the energy plane, is how you may notice things and show up in your reality as like good luck. You're like, I don't know, I just ended up being in the right place at the right time. Or I don't know, I just met that person and then they put me in touch with that person and then this happened. Or I don't know, I just received this and it's just working, If you're someone who's like conscious and notice the things that happen around you and to you, you'll actually notice that for so many things in your life, there's been you making a certain amount of effort, and then there's just been you getting somewhat lucky, or things just kind of working out. That is the universe helping to support you in when it sees you trying to create a certain reality for yourself. And that's the thing about us as human beings as well. We tend to think that we are so in control of everything. Like, we think that it's a one-to-one thing. Like, I put in this effort, so I have that. Of course it makes sense. 1 + 1. Oh, I don't have that because I didn't do that. Of course it makes sense. And that's not really how it works at all. Like, when we watch, I always think about it, when we watch TV, when we watch our shows, you can see how things worked out for the protagonist, how his application just happened to land in the right person's hands, and that's what got him the job, or how he missed that taxi or that train where if he'd gotten off at the time he was going to be attacked and killed or something. You know, we get to see that when we watch it on screen, but we don't get to see that in our own lives. We never get to see what it is that we missed when we missed that train, when we missed that bus, or how we got successful. We don't get to see that maybe our application just happened to land in the right person's hand. We don't get to see that. So we think, oh, I got that because I put in this and so I get that, not realizing just how much the universe also intercedes on our behalf. And it's actually really great knowing that. Is then you know that all you ever really need to do as a person is to put in your best effort for everything that you want, and then let go and trust that if it's for you at that point, if it's now for you, you will have it. And if it's not for you, no matter how much effort you put in, you'll never have it. Because if you've also noticed in your life, there's probably been times that you've worked really hard for something, or you work really hard at something and it just doesn't seem to work. Whereas other times you just like, you try a little bit and everything works out. So all we're ever really supposed to do as people as well, and that goes for manifesting, is that we put in our best effort into making it happen, and then we relax and let go of the process and everything else, and then trust that whatever happens, it's for our greatest and highest good. And that's a really important thing to remember with manifesting. So the universe speaks through energy, not through words. And when you're trying to create something that you thought about here, you've dreamt about here, it needs energy to become concrete, to actualize in reality. So when you first start thinking about it, you send little bits of energy towards it, towards making it happen. But that's it. It's just little bits, because thoughts are fleeting. You know, they're like air, they're here, they're gone, and you can be thinking about your reality and at the same time thinking about all the ways in which it can't work out. So thinking is just the very beginning of the process, and it's not enough. That's why every, you know, motivational speaker, every self-help book, everything will tell you write down your goals, because once you start writing them down, you're actually then putting them into physical reality. Once it's on a piece of paper, now it's actually in some form existing in the physical, and when you put it down, you're giving it more life. And that's really good, right? Writing down your goals is a great way of getting yourself organized, structured, and making the thing happen. It's also a great way of giving energy to the reality that you're trying to create. It's stronger than a thought, but still, you can write things down every day for the rest of your life and still not make them happen. So writing them down is also just the beginning. The next really powerful thing that you can and should be doing if you're trying to manifest something is to then speak about it. And this is where I was saying that sometimes we get scared to share our dreams, our plans, our applications with people, because we're afraid of like either the embarrassment of it not working out, or having to share in the disappointment, or even just from wanting to manage our own excitement and not letting ourselves get too excited. But whenever you do that, you're actually putting yourself at a disadvantage, because remember that the universe speaks in energy. So when you choose to keep something to yourself for fear of something, what you're really giving energy to is it's not working out. You're entertaining, your actions are basically entertaining a reality in which that thing doesn't happen. You also make your plan more vulnerable, because now it only belongs to you, where your fear could easily suppress the energy needed to make it happen, or where you could easily talk yourself out of making it happen for whatever reason. Like, there was a point at which for me it was too late to go back because everybody was like, you're going. And now I had to push past my own fear, my own laziness, everything to make it then happen, because it's like, I've said that I'm going to do it. Everybody says I'm going to do it, so I gotta do it. That actually adds more energy to what you're trying to do. And with that being said, there is something to be said about keeping plans that are still in their very early stages, or plans that are vulnerable to your close friends or to close family, to protect them from evil eye, because not everyone has your best intentions at heart. And it's not that they have evil intentions or malicious intentions, or they just want to see you fail. But sometimes when you're trying to get something or do something, that thing can trigger feelings of envy and jealousy and insecurity and inadequacy in other people when they look at you and wonder why they can't have that or do that too, or want to do it too. These can even be people that love you, right? They don't mean to, they're not trying to see you fail, but they can't help those feelings. That energy can be sent to you and your plans, and can affect them in some capacity depending on how vulnerable the plan or you are to it. So use your discernment. But you do want to speak about the thing that you're trying to create, because speaking adds life to it. And now the next thing, the most powerful thing, of course, that you can do when you're trying to create the reality that you want to create is to take the actions of somebody who is living in that reality. So this I learned from my brother. You guys, my younger brother is a globe trotter. Like, he is all around the world. I'll give the guy a call and he'll be like, I'm in Puerto Rico, what's up? And I'm like, what are you doing in Puerto Rico? He's just like, he's all around the world. I don't even need to say too much. His page speaks for itself. He is a worldwide traveler. Like, he's that guy that people are like, how do you do that? How do you have the money for that? When do you have the time for that? You know, he's him. And one thing my brother will do is buy his tickets before he even has his visa to go to the place. And he's like, I'm going. One way or the other, I'm going. And that is a powerful way of manifesting, because when you go and you buy the ticket, it's like you're saying, I'm going, right? The universe responds so well to that kind of energy, because that energy is basically saying, this reality where I'm going already exists. I'm not trying to go. I'm not saying, God, please. I'm saying, God, I'm going, because I've bought the ticket. So now I'm like, God, let's help make this happen. Now you're really co-creating with the universe. So the most powerful thing that you can do is take action towards the thing that you want, and especially action that speaks to the thing already having happened. So I take a page out of my brother's book, and so I start booking things, right? With the money that I had at the time, I book a little tour here, I book a little Airbnb there. I'm like, okay, I have a little something, you know. The main thing that I don't have is a visa. And I'm not like, God, I really need a visa, right? I gotta go and I need this visa. But there's no appointments. There was no appointments, couldn't get a single one. So every day I'm like, God, I really need this appointment. And every single day I would log into like the visa website and I would check for canceled appointments every single day, sometimes twice a day. I did this for weeks, every day. That was my contribution, right? That's me sending that energy that I'm looking for this appointment, and then me being like, God, help make it happen. 3 weeks now before the day that I bought the ticket to go, because I already bought one ticket, which was to leave. And finally an appointment pops up, and it's like in the next 2 days. I'm like, okay, gotta get everything together. So I get everything together. I'm feeling super happy, super grateful, right? I'm like, thank you for that. Thank you to me too for showing up for myself. And I go for my appointment. I have my papers. The guy is going through my papers. And then I made a mistake on one of them. He's like, it's fine. Just cancel it and then sign. I cancel, I sign. He keeps going through the papers. Then he stops. He's like, where's the original paper for this one? I'm like, I was supposed to bring an original, and he's like, it says so right here. Then he's like, I'm not supposed to let you go forward without this thing. But then he just keeps going anyway. Then he's like, where's your ticket to come back? And I was like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to get that. At this point, he openly sighs. He's like, you know what? Any other day, any other person, and I would tell you to leave this appointment and book another appointment and come back another day. But guys, it took me over a month to get this appointment. So I'm just looking at him like, and then he's like, any other day. But you know what? Go right now, go sweat it out. I'm giving you 45 minutes to go sweat everything out and come back here and give me your documents. And I ran to sort everything out. But it's like, isn't that crazy? Because that's not me. When something like that happens, that's not my effort. My effort had made me go there without adequate paperwork. And on any other day, any other person, he said himself, he would have canceled that appointment and I would have had to make another one. God knows when I would have gotten it. But instead on that day, I'm given so much grace. And that's the grace of God. You know, that's the universe working on my behalf, because it's like, I have booked some things. I told people I'm going. There's my family's expecting me there. I've got friends expecting me there. I've bought certain things, right? I have made these steps and I now need some support. And the universe is like, okay, you know, God is like, here's some grace. And that's that grace. That the person who's looking at your application materials will be the right person. Who knows, maybe if I got in any one of the 2 other officers that were there that day, I would have left there with nothing. But instead, I get it together, I come back, he's like, okay. And then he gives me the thing. And guys, I got that visa in 5 days. Record time, less than a week later, I had my visa to go. And here's another thing that I didn't have. Vacation time. I had my job, my full-time job, and all my vacation days, I already were already allocated to exam time because I'm in school as well. And so whatever days I have for holiday at work, I use them for my exam periods twice a year. So I didn't have any vacation days. I had maybe like, I don't know, a couple of sick days or something, but I definitely didn't have weeks to go on a Europe tour. And I'd spent like weeks wondering, how am I supposed to tell my boss that I need this time to like go jet setting around Europe? I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to bring it up. I didn't even know where those days would come from. Like, it just didn't make it. It didn't compute how I was supposed to go on this holiday and have this job at the same time. So I just kept quiet while I was doing my little plans. And I'm like, God, where am I supposed to get the days to go on this trip? Soon after that, I'm at work, at my desk. I get a call from my boss. He's like, I need you to hop on a conference call like right now. I'm like, okay, I hop in. He's there, the director, HR. And I'm like, oh, this can't be good. And then they start there. So we've decided to restructure the company and and I get laid off from my job, you guys. Like, laid off right there. They're like, effective immediately. Bye. And I was like, ah. I'm like, I guess now I have the days. And I remember just sitting in my bed, just looking up at the sky, being like, you're hilarious. Like, this is hilarious, but okay. But then guess what? As well, I have to not have my vacation days. But then here's another thing. Because of how it happened, because of the short notice, I get this lovely, lovely severance package. I mean, beautiful. And all my money for Europe is taken care of. Vacation days are now sorted. Money is now sorted. Visa is sorted. I'm going to Europe just like that. Just like that. And that's the amazing thing about manifesting as well. You know, you put in all this effort, you set your goals, you set your intentions, you do everything you can do to make it happen. And then you also let go of how it's supposed to happen. Because there's a reality in which I then stayed at home after getting laid off from my job, and I was like, let me ration this paycheck, and because I don't know when I'll work next, and I don't know where the money will come from, and now I can't go to Europe. There was a reality in which I could have done that. But, you know, why would I? Every other signal I'd been getting from the universe was that I should go. My excitement, my own passion inside me was telling me I should go. And excitement, by the way, is how yes is translated from God inside of your body, if you didn't know. So God wants me to go on this trip. I want to go on this trip. My family wants me to go on this trip. I got friends that want me to go on this trip. Then I get the vacation days I need. I get the money that I need. The trip is happening. Everything that happens in our lives is always working out for our greatest and highest good, some way, somehow. Every single time that you were rejected from something, it always ended up being a good thing. Every time when someone left or something left your life, it was a good thing. Even if you don't always see why in the moment, you can definitely see why later. And so for me, I can trust that when things leave my life, I know that it's for a reason. Even if I don't see it yet, don't see why, I can trust that if something is going, it's because something better is coming. If something is coming in, I should allow it. If something is going, I should allow it. Wanting things to be other than what they are is what causes suffering. Just be. And there's also another powerful manifesting technique, which a lot of people know about, and that's fasting. And fasting is a really powerful way of sending big amounts of energy towards the thing that you're trying to create. Because when you are fasting, you're basically turning your life into a living prayer. Instead of just having 1 moment or 2 moments a day where you say, oh, God, this is what I want. Universe, help me to make this happen. You basically turn your entire being into that prayer, because now everything that you do is colored by the fast. And the things to remember about manifesting are that you need to write about it, talk about it, and be about it. And then finally let go of your expectations of how it's supposed to then appear in your reality. It will appear as it should appear, in a way that works out for you, even if you don't quite understand or don't quite see it. It will happen in the best way that it's supposed to happen for you specifically. You might say, God, I really would like a job that pays more. I'd like more money in my life. And so you get fired from your current job. Or you might say, oh God, I really want new connections and people that just get me, that I can do all these activities with, and so you lose all your current friends or something. Whatever happens, just let go of your expectations of how the thing that you're praying for, manifesting, should appear in your life. Trust that as long as you're taking aligned action, is an action that is in alignment with your greatest good, action that is in alignment with your excitement, action that is in alignment with your highest potential, you can trust that whatever then appears in your reality is there to help you in some way.